Hello, everyone. My name is Brinn. I am an intern for Seeds of Healing, and I will be facilitating the vision board party today. So just so you know, the party will be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel. So just first, some background on Seeds of Healing. We are a nonprofit firmly rooted in the Wilmington, North Carolina community, and we are an advocacy and action organization. Seeds of Healing seeks to deconstruct myths that perpetuate fear and stigma and generate sustained support for women with a diagnosis of HIV. So why are we here today? Just some background on vision boarding. So we really wanted to host a vision board party to support our community and share a fun way to reflect on personal dreams and desires. So a vision board really should remind you of your goals and act as an inspiration to meet those goals whenever you look at it. So while it's nice to have specific goals in mind, remember that it is okay if your aspirations shift as you continue to grow or have new experiences, new relationships, and just gain knowledge as you grow. So I'll give a little bit of background on each of our participants today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So firstly, like I said before, my name is Brinn. I'm a senior at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and I'm studying public health, and I'm an intern with Seeds of Healing this semester. Secondly, we have Dr. Buffie Longmire Avital. She is an associate professor of psychology and coordinator of the African and African American Studies minor at Elon University, and is a critical health psychologist. She received her PhD in applied developmental psychology from the Steinhardt School of Education, Culture, and Human Development at New York University. Her scholarship focuses on the psychosocial experience of marginalized groups linked with health behavior, well-being, and other disparities. Dr. Longmire Avital is the author of several peer-reviewed publications, blog posts, and book chapters. And in 2016, she was named a Womanist to Watch. Our second participant is Dr. Jocelyn Hunter-Jones. She is an assistant professor in the School of Social Work here at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. She has a background and experience in the fields of social work and public health, and her research really focuses on HIV and AIDS and Black mental health. She's also a practicing clinician who engages her clients with expressive art forms such as writing and journaling, music expression, mindful meditation, and mindful music listening. And certainly last but not least, Miss Bonetta Spratley, a native of Hopewell, Virginia. She was diagnosed with HIV in 1990 at the age of 19. After her diagnosis, she became involved in many organizations doing work with HIV and AIDS prevention in the area. Bonita then spent 11 years in South Carolina, where she was involved in many local and national HIV groups, such as Leading Women's Society, Common Threads, and Positive Women's Network, just to name a few. She's also worked as a medical case manager and a medication adherence counselor for many years. She's now working as a content contributor for the SOH Time platform, as well as a program assistant for A Family Affair, Living Our Best Life, where she continues to rise against the stigma, spread awareness, and advocate for all who have been diagnosed and affected by the HIV epidemic. So it is fantastic to be with all of you here today. I'm so excited. So many accomplishments in this one Zoom. It's crazy. The vision board party. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Cool.
Ed.
All right, so just some pictures from, I guess, 2 years ago, vision board party event when it was in person, which we haven't been able to do, but just some inspiration for the future. I don't know if Dr. Hunter-Jones or Dr. Longmire Avital want to take away what exactly vision boarding is.
Wanna go for it, Buffy?
Sure. I mean, I feel like you're more the expert than I am. But I think we all know that visualizing and having kind of this mental image of something you're trying to achieve holds you a little bit more accountable and makes it feel a little bit more real. And this process is kind of on the steps to getting to that point, where we carry in our heads a lot of kind of ideas about what we want to achieve, what we want to do. We have lots of thoughts, but a vision board not only helps you really visualize what the potential outcome could be, but also get you thinking about the different steps and different forms of support, things that you maybe don't have but need, other factors that might be involved that are going to help you move towards this goal. The person you're accountable to is yourself. So if you kind of come up with a vision and it shifts over time, that's fine. It's about you. It's really about this process of just kind of moving forward, whatever the forward momentum may be, it's just moving forward. And sometimes that forward momentum is pausing for a second, but then being able to look at this visual reminder and pick it back up and keep going. We'll probably get into this. And I know Dr. Hunter-Jones will talk more about this, but your vision goal is also not supposed to be something super broad, but to be as specific as possible, because when you have something very specific, you can really kind of think about the details of that vision, and think about all the elements that go into achieving that vision. And so that's really important too with vision boarding. It's not just kind of saying, where do I want my life to be in another year? And I'm just putting down all these various different things that could be a possibility. I would encourage you to think of kind of one particular thing, and then spend that time really pulling out all those different factors and considerations and steps that are going to go in to achieving that thing. Because when we have a plan, we are more likely to follow through with it.
Yeah, and I would just follow up on what she said about the boards. One thing I really like about it is, I feel like you said, we have all these things in our head, right? But we have to kind of get them out. And so in the past, I started vision board parties kind of with quotes that some people have heard before, like write the vision, make it plain, right? Or a vision is only a dream till we get it down on paper. So that's kind of the general concept around this. You know, as she said, to hold ourselves accountable is to sort of get those dreams out of our head, get them down on paper or poster, right? Poster board or whatever you have. And also use it as a reminder, right? Because sometimes we get off track, but once we've set those goals and they are realistic goals, as she said, we have those boards with us to continue to kind of inspire us over and over again as we're trying to reach those goals.
So just some basics of what all we have with us today. And anything that, like you were saying, anything that inspires you, that's going to keep you really like motivated for that specific goal. So like you see, scissors, glue, markers, magazines, or anything. I got lucky because I have Beyonce on mine. Some journals. We also have some stickers with words on them, pens, markers, scissors. I think that's everything. Really anything that, you need to make it good for you, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, no one's winning awards here for the most stylistic vision board. So I think a lot of times when people see art supplies and they see this blank canvas or blank page, they get caught up in thinking about, okay, well, do I place the words here? Do I place the words here? What about this color? It really is just an opportunity to just kind of go. And it's supposed to make sense to you. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense to anybody else. But don't get so caught up in thinking about having lettering being perfect or centering something. This is really, it really is a big kind of intentional brainstorm that you're doing, moving you towards a particular goal.
So once you have all that, it's important to include SMART goals, I believe. Dr. Hunter-Jones.
Sure. So SMART goals thing, right? What I like about it is you can use it for almost anything, right? So I've learned over time, that when I was younger, I was taught SMART goals about something very specific. I don't know, like a science experiment or, something very specific. I've learned over time that you really can apply to anything. If you're gonna, set a strong goal, like the ones you want to kind of put on your vision boards, if you try to make them smart and you can sort of remember what each of these letters stands for, at least something like it, right? Then you're sure that kind of it's a goal that's not, too beastly, that's actually achievable and that you can get it done. And what's important about that, most of all, is that you're not setting something so large that you're setting yourself up for kind of disappointment. You know what I mean? Like we all deserve to set goals and also reach them. So it's making them goals that we can actually reach and achieve. So the S is for specific, what exactly is it do you want to do? I think we had an example earlier about, for example, losing weight or being physically fit. I feel like every vision board I've had that as a part of my goals, being physically fit. And, you might want to say something specifically like, I want to tone my body more, or I specifically want to lose weight, right? I want to lose weight specifically, or I want to work on a certain part of my body, just being really specific about how you want to become more physically fit. And then the M is for measurable. And I think this is really important, especially with these kinds of goals, because this is how you know you've achieved it. So instead of saying, I want to lose weight, I say, I want to lose 5 pounds, right? Or I want to lose 7 pounds. So that by the end, I can say, okay, I know that I've reached my goal because I hit the 7-pound mark. A is for attainable. And it's really like, is this something I can do? If I don't have fitness equipment nearby, then do I have the kind of environment where I can run outside? Or can I eat a bit healthier? Do I have options to shop nearby? Do I have things at home I can use? R is relevant, which I find interesting because most time when you do vision boards, people are like, of course it's relevant. I want to do it. It's something that's already on my mind as a goal. So of course it's relevant. I like to remind people about priorities, right? There are things that are relevant for me now in my life that may not have been relevant for me 5 years ago, right? And that may not be relevant for me next year or the following year. So it's important to be setting like intentions and goals that are relevant for your life right now. And the other part is just being time-based, still being reasonable. Like I set my goal of losing 7 pounds by June, for example, and really thinking about if you could achieve that in that time frame. So this is just a way that, you may jot down one goal on a piece of paper and just kind of at least think through these letters to see, is this a good goal to set? Is it achievable? Am I setting myself up for success? And if so, then make it a part of your vision.
So just lastly, before we really get into it, having all the knowledge we need to get started, just some ways to keep in touch with the Seeds of Healing community, which we'll also link in the bio below. But if you've found this video, you've probably already found the YouTube. But we also have Facebook at So7 Seeds of Healing. Our Instagram is at Seeds of Healing Inc. Our SOH Time platform is SOTime.org for Black women living positively. And our website is seedsofhealinginc.org. And lastly, we have a virtual HIV and AIDS awareness walk and run 5K that is happening, I believe, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And we have an Eventbrite page for that. Tickets are $25. And all of that is going towards Seeds of Healing programming for things such as HIV testing and educational webinars like the one that we're doing today. So with that, I think we are ready to dive into it.
Excited. Okay. So I'm assuming, does everybody have their materials near them?
Mm-hmm.
Nearby. So people start this, right, different ways, but I typically just take them first, right? Cheated a little bit this time. First, usually write down 1 to 4 goals on a piece of paper and just spend a few minutes kind of meditating on that. Like, let me think about these goals. Are they smart? Is this something that I think I really want to be a vision for me now? And then I think the trick is when I'm done with that, the magazines and stickers, the words and pictures I might see, I try my best to not get distracted by like pretty things in the magazine, if that makes sense, right? Or things that I'm just drawn to because of whatever the colors or, how the picture pops or whatever, but try to see if they align with my goals. And those are the ones I really want to put on my vision board.
So not to interrupt anyone, but while you all were sharing the information, on how to prepare for the vision um, board party, I was drawn to the first portion when you talked about how your mind is so overwhelmed with different things, and that's what I cheated to this week. Got a little early head start. Um, just I felt bombarded with. I had so many things, visions, um, activities, and involvements with networking with other people that I wanted to do, and I was like, oh my God, I can't put all of this on this board. It's gonna look like my calendar, and so it's good that you pick out those one or two things to try to tackle because you'll find yourself overwhelmed. Um, Not only trying to fit all that stuff on the board, but um, I think just overall in life, when you're thinking about so many different things and how you're going to get it done and how are you going to afford it and how are you going to fit it into your schedule, like it just gets overwhelming, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of it. So I thought that was really good, just to pick one thing at a time or two things, you know um, to maybe tackle and look at, because we
Yeah.
can't, Rome wasn't created in a day, you know.
I think one of the other things, to your point, Ms. Bonita, that people do and just choosing like one or two goals, sometimes people, it's easier for them to choose like an area or a dimension of like, it's usually health related, right? Whether it's like our social health, how we socialize or who we network with, um, how we take care of ourselves as far as building relationships or support, or it could be physical health, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be financial health. So if that's helpful, sometimes people will just square one of those off, one of those areas, you know what I mean? Say, I'm going
Right.
to focus on finances only, or I'm going to focus on my social life only, and then board those. Because you're right, I can totally relate. And I'm sure Brinn and Dr. Longmire, Avital can as well. Life gets crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. As you're writing, more and more are coming up. For me, this has been a practice in prioritizing, like what is my, what are my main, I really need to, I really, really want to focus on this. I don't know if it really works, but like someone once told me that if you can't decide between two things, flip a coin, and you'll realize as the coin is flipping that you're rooting for it to hit like either heads or tails. And so it doesn't really matter how it lands. You've
Man.
already made the decision in your, in your head. And so to me, that's going through this process. Okay, I have only a certain amount of space that I can work with, and I want something that is kind of clear and meaningful. So what are those goals where I want to spend the most time kind of making sure, what are the goals that I want to make sure fit on this page? Okay, those are my priorities right now, and I'll just be present with those. And then the other ones, it doesn't mean I forget them, but maybe I'll shift as I start moving through these. There's always an opportunity to make another board, extend
Yes.
it in some way.
Imagine seeing myself with 5 or 6 boards trying to trying to keep it all together.
But you know what? I think as you start this and you start pulling in the detail and really thinking about pulling apart these goals,
Yeah.
you start realizing, oh, you know what? I need to just focus here right now, and then I'll move on to that next one. I'm more of a linear person, so I like to finish one thing kind of first and then move on. My life doesn't actually allow me to do that, so any opportunity I can to do it, I take it.
I was going to have many questions.
I once heard someone talking about how many whiteboards they had in their house, because they write their goals and stuff down, but that I was like, oh my God, I can imagine. My notebooks and calendars already enough, but to have a whole a few whiteboards laying around with stuff on them.
I think that would stress me out.
Like push you over the edge.
Yes, yes. Then I would just feel like I can't get anything done. So therefore I'm not going to do anything, which is something that is like clinically does happen to people. So, let's not bite off everything. Just baby steps. Do people have their goals? Are we planning on sharing maybe one or two each, what we're thinking about? Miss Bonita, you have your goal?
I do. I can start.
Okay.
I have three, but I'll go with the one, and it's a main one because it's something I've dealt with for some time now, which is health, and it's the weight issue, and it's fluctuated, and it's because of the medications that people living with HIV have to take. Um, for me, I've developed in the past high blood pressure and high cholesterol. So I have to maintain a balanced diet, uh, supposedly, but the
In a
medication,
pandemic.
right, coupled with that. So it's always been a task for me to try to keep my weight at something that's reasonable um, to keep me healthy. I've been fortunate over the years to be on and off of the high blood pressure medications. I'm off right now because of some weight that I lost. But because of old pandemic, I've slowly started to put it back on. So um, I knew that I needed to jump on this right away. So yes, health and more specifically, losing weight and maintaining that weight that I want to get to would be my number one.
Well, it sounds like you've been able to lose some weight before. What has worked for you in the past?
Actually cutting back and to um, focus more on fruits and vegetables. Last year, and it's been a year, I have cut out uh, pork, beef, turkey, and chicken. So I was going to try to do the vegan thing, but I can't give up my seafood.
I can relate, Miss
Yeah, I can't give
Bonita.
up seafood. So I'm eating, a lot more fruits and vegetables. Um, but I've also noticed that even with that, you can still gain in a
Yeah.
weight, which blows my mind. So trying to figure that out. So I've ordered the goalies pills. They have the apple cider vinegar um,
Ah,
in the pill, GOLI, goalie.
okay.
And so that and the keto pill to help try to curve um, my appetite. That will give me a jump start. My appetite, and I know it's the medications. I've dealt with it for so many years, but um, like it's just like I gotta have something to eat, and I just feel like I'm starving. So yeah, I knew I was gonna need something to curb. And then there's those times that I don't feel hungry at all, and I would just lose the weight. And I know lots of people that are HIV positive can relate to that. We talk about it all the time, so it's one of those main topics that we discuss when it comes to medications and stuff. But yes, those were two things that several things that I've done um, pertaining to losing weight. I also started walking for an hour. Um, I, during the pandemic, ran into online a girl trek.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I got involved with that. And so that's been very encouraging because I've been sitting in front of the computer on Zoom and snacking. so I had to get up and get out and walk. So that's been good as well. And then I also do the alkaline water.
Okay.
That's another thing. So I've done several things to try to get myself on track. And like I said, I was able to get off of the high blood pressure medication. So that was a plus. Yay! Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Let's see. I'm trying to think which goals. Am I going with the career-oriented ones or health-oriented ones? I think, well, I will say, well, the one thing that's been weighing heavily on my mind, because I think I've already started this, I've been on this health journey for a while, so I know I just need to kind of keep it up. But something I really have been putting off and I need to tackle, it's so simple, but just the idea of creating a website for myself, which is ironic since I spent the better half of 2020 creating SOH Time, creating another website, but and really thinking about, I just feel like I'm a bit in a crossroads right now with my career. So I'll be going up for what they call full professor in the fall. So you're hired in as assistant and you go for tenure and promotion to associate, which means unless you really do something awful, they can't fire you. And then you have to, go up for full. And I knew I want to go up for full. And it's this interesting thing where like 2% of Black women in academia are full professors, or I think it's just like 2% of all full professors are Black women. Like it's this crazy small amount that Black women will get if we get into academia, if we get into this profession, that we don't move all the way up the ranks, usually because there's barriers and other things that we encounter, and oftentimes feel like the academy isn't seeing us for our worth. So we focus on other things that take us out of kind of the running for full professors. So I have pushed forward with that, but I kind of feel like, okay, I'm hitting that milestone. I have a fabulous protest planned if they don't give it to me. So I feel like sheer intimidation factor, I should get it. Covering all my bases. Then I got to say, well, what do I want to do next? I mean, I'll stay teaching in some capacity, but I'm just not sure. And I'm really starting to like working with other organizations, going back into working with nonprofits and taking the information that I've learned over the years and giving that back in some way. I've been speaking a lot in other places. So I really feel like I need to create kind of a web presence of myself. But I suffer from both imposter syndrome and what I call achievement dysmorphia, where even though I achieve certain things, I don't think they're as big as they are. So I'm always saying, oh, I'm not there yet. I don't think I have enough content to fill it up. So I'm really going to try and push myself this year to just put myself out there, knowing that once I do put myself out there, like I really will probably have to make some choices. I can't kind of float in the middle like I've been floating for so long. So I don't know. I've been having these conversations with a lot of people. It's scary. It's easy to trust the devil you know than the devil you don't, but sometimes the risk is and the possibilities are kind of worth it.
Well, thanks for sharing. I learned a lot in that and before as an assistant professor at the first step, but yeah, all those challenges there. So it's nice to see that you're motivating yourself to keep moving, as you should. And I hear that of kind of, okay, so getting there, so what next? And also, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah. You got it. I'm thinking through all the things you mentioned because you're like a veteran there, and I'm like,
Right.
no, they don't prepare you for the next career crisis. So like, yeah, they happen multiple times.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I thought I just got over a big hump. I'm on my way to tenure. Oh, okay, another one's coming. Right.
Next.
The next
but it's also
wave.
just like you know, what makes you happy, right? Like you want to
Yeah.
do, you want to do what, if you're able to, what makes you happy and where you want to kind of spend your time. So you gotta, you know, you make those decisions. And sometimes you're okay, but you're not happy, right? And you can live okay, but is it worth taking the next step to be happy?
Mhm.
Really happy in what you're doing. So now I'm there. I'm weighing.
So your goal is to push yourself to sort of work on your website and also kind of think about, you know, who you are sort of outside of that, or push yourself forward to the next level.
Yeah, it's really like what's the next step? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
clear I'm outgrowing certain things. So
Yeah.
you really gotta just it's taking that leap of faith. And for me, I guess I felt like the specific step in there is the first step is just create a website, like
Mhm.
put it all down there
Yeah.
so you can see at least what you've done and see if you get any bites.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like those kinds of experiences, just like making a vision board, just getting it down, you're like, I knew I was doing a lot and, you know, succeeding a lot, achieving a lot, even like Ms. Bonita, with you saying you lost your weight and were off your high blood pressure measure, like once you write it down, right, or you're envisioning it, you're like, oh, I did do that thing. Like we need those reminders too to move
Right.
to the next goal. You know what I mean? Yeah, what you were saying about like imposter and all that stuff, I can relate to that. And I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff. Like I'm scrambling and doing all this stuff. And sometimes it's good to just like sit still and say, you're doing it, you got it. Just be a
Yeah.
little more intentional about how you want to move forward. But so yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, now y'all making me, so let me see. I have 4. Should challenge myself to move to 3 to 3 goals. I think something I want to be more intentional about. I love that word, right? But is more mind body work. So I do a lot of meditational stuff and music listening, and I do it with my students and I do it with my clients, but sometimes I get so wrapped up in that work. I feel like I'm grateful for that experience with them as well, even though the focus is them, right? I get something out of it for sure. But just to be more intentional about my time away from students and clients and focusing on my own sort of mind body approaches. Like I've wanted to be, like in my dreams, I'm a yogi, but I've only taken like, you know, 5 or 6 classes. And I'm like,
Right.
you should like, you know, settle down and just take a class or 2 just for you. I know how important that mind body approach is, especially when you have a lot of stuff going on and you got all these dreams and visions in your head, right? Just to slow down and kind of do that work. So I want to practice more and really build a better, like a stronger mind body yoga practice, and probably do more sitting meditation alone and not just with other people. So that's one of my goals.
I like that. A little practice what you preach.
A little practice what I preach. I'm calling myself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brinn, do you have a goal?
Yeah, kind of. Well, I have a hard time. Sometimes I hold myself a little too much to the smart. I'm like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And I don't let myself like kind of be a little more creative with my goals, especially in school, because like, you know, the public health, they're like, this is important.
Public health trained you to do that.
Yep. So I'm like ingrained. I'm like, is it smart? But like Dr. Hunter Jones was saying, especially during the pandemic when I'm not really leaving my house that much, I find it really hard to not focus on the present because I'm thinking about when I'm graduating, when this pandemic will be over, when I can do things, you know. I'm like constantly trying to think about other things instead of, even though it's limited what I do in the present, trying to avoid thinking about the present when I can find so much to enjoy in the present. So kind of just like little goals off of that main goal of what things I can do in my life now that will help me be more present. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
So are y'all ready to start boarding? Did you get some of your goals down? At least 1 or 2?
yeah.
We got our top goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess where did scissors go? So I guess we start flipping through our pictures and magazines and really looking for images or words that speak to those top goals and just cutting them out, putting a little glue on them, and just getting them on the board.
So a quick question, do you write your goals directly onto your board, or is it more just you use the pictures to kind of convey what your goals were supposed to be?
So I love that question because I've seen people do it both ways. Now I haven't ever one, which there is no right way, right? Whatever makes you feel comfortable and that you reach your goal. I've seen people take, like, if I said I want to be more physically fit, I've seen people find words like physical body, more fit, like from random paragraphs and just like paste them in line, like almost writing a sentence or a phrase that represents that goal. Totally fine and up to you. And then there are people who might do, then they might find weights on a picture and just cut the weights out and paste that on the board. Whatever you feel like when you look at it, it is going to remind you of that priority goal. And it is going to immediately say to you, send a message to the brain like, oh yeah, that's that thing I wanted to accomplish. Like, what can I do right now or this week to work on that? So I think either or. I've noticed that people have, it's fun to show a little bit of boards at the end of parties because you'll see that people do it so differently. Like, that's what I love about it. So some people have boards full of words and some people have boards with only pictures.
Yeah. All right.
So what I found really interesting is that it brought a whole new concept to me just looking and thumbing through a magazine when I had my vision and goals in mind. Because like words, like you talked about, they were just jumping out at me. And I was like, these words wouldn't have spoken to me had I not been doing this vision board. So I don't know if you guys can see this.
Hold it up a little higher, Miss Bonita.
The good fight.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I've got to cut this out. So I mean, it was just a lot of different phrases and words and stuff. And then, being able to cut out letters. And I found one that said, long may she reign. And I was like, yeah, I like
that. I like that.
I like that one. So that was really befitting. But yeah, it was just amazing to me how the words, because of us doing the vision board, how some of the phrases and words jumped out.
I'm in the zone right now. I'm already seeing words jumping out.
Yeah.
I know. I wish we were in person, Brinn. I got something I would pass to you if it wasn't COVID time. It's at the bottom. It says for right now. I would have said, I would have ran over to your table and say, Brinn, this is perfect. Go.
Keep that in mind mentally right now.
Love this because we're basically engaging in like mindful meditation, I feel like.
I can hear it, but I got my little keys going on. I got a little piano, classic piano music going in the back because I like to meditate with
I was about to listen, I love me some jazz. And in the morning doing my meditation and stuff, that's what I do. I put on jazz. And it's because of all of that stuff going on in my head that I got to do that. It keeps me focused and grounded. But I was just thinking, wow, it would be nice to have a little music playing, but I'm going to make good.
So when you're all doing this, do you just cut the pictures out first and then glue at the end, or do you like to glue as you go?
Well, because I did a little cheating, like Miss Hunter Jones, I just cut mine out and I had them set to the side. I didn't know exactly how we were going to be, doing it. And so, it was becoming overwhelming to me through the week. So, and I was trying to fit it all into that hour and a half time. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be able to do this. I need to get started now.
Yeah.
So I cut out as much as I could. that I thought I may want to use.
I think I do a little bit of both. Like sometimes I find myself snipping and just sitting it to the side, and then I don't know. Every once in a while, I just kind of throw it on there. I find that for me, the hardest to put on are the first couple. Like once I get the first couple on my board, then I'm like, okay, kind of have an idea of how I want to do this. Not that there has to be any rhyme or reason, but you know what I mean. Getting started, right? The first step is always the hardest.
Right.
Yep. Just getting started is the hard part.
And I think we just have this automatic need of wanting to be perfect and whatever perfect is, and you just gotta go.
Yeah. Oh Lord, I'm fighting with the dots over here. We had some dots that were in our package. I'd never used them before, seen them, but they're neat.
What are you gonna do with your dots, Miss Bonita?
Hmm?
What are you gonna do with your dots?
Well, actually, the dots are used to, I guess it's an adhesive.
Oh yeah, to help it stick a little better.
Mhm.
I had because we have dots, we have glue sticks, and we have thumbtacks.
Yeah.
You know, board recently with thumbtacks, and I'd never seen that before. I was like, maybe
Yeah.
at this time.
The dots are working pretty good.
You just have like 8 pages of Beyonce in here. I'm tempted to just put them all on here.
Is that what you gonna have a
Oh
line
no,
on
she looks pretty great.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is secretly your goal is to morph into Beyonce.
I don't know. I went to her concert and when I was younger, and I kid you not, it was thundering, lightning, storming during the concert, and they were about to call it. And as soon as she sang the last note, lightning struck across the sky, and the screen went, the whole stage went black. And then they were like, "Okay, everyone, go inside." It was, and then I was like, "She's magical." So.
Wow. Well, the show must go on.
Yeah.
Friend said she brought the lightning, or she paid for the lightning.
How about that, right?
Good.
It was working on her behalf.
Who knew she'd have the career that she has? Destiny's Child.
Listen, I bet you she probably didn't have that on her vision board.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Miss Destiny Child days. Oh,
Good days. Matching
Those were
outfits with your
those
friends.
were good times. Yes. Destiny's Child, yeah.
Just enough difference to.
So is it good to give a theme to your vision board? I didn't talk here. Or is the goal considered like the headliner?
It's a good question. I think so I've been places where, remember I was talking about those dimensions of wellness or health, where there's like social, financial, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people theme their board that way. So they're focused specifically on financial wealth, and they might theme their board that way. So everything on the board is about money, savings, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And other times people say it's all about, I've done work with young teens, and they have a self-confidence vision board party, and literally everything on their boards are about whatever that is for them, self-worth stuff, or pictures of things that remind them of who they are, poems, affirming poems. So you can give your board a theme, Miss Bonita.
Yeah. I have a Joyce Meyer's magazine, and I cut off the enjoying everyday life.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So is part of enjoying everyday life for you, also meeting your goals around weight loss and that kind of stuff that you were talking about?
Yes, yeah, because I mean, after all, it's set to be a lifelong goal and not like to be able to enjoy it.
Mhm.
Because if I don't, I won't maintain it and keep up with what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So, and I think everything goal wise needs to be something enjoyable. You won't give it your all. At least I won't. If that makes sense.
So when you're setting these goals, part of that is the T is time. How do you capture that kind of on the board?
Mhm. So it doesn't have to be, but many times people do vision board parties to start or end the year. You don't have to literally do it like I'm starting a new job and I want to set a vision for that, like how that will go. But then some people set it for the year. So for example, if I do a vision board party in January and I say for this year, these are my goals, and I'm in December, I would have accomplished this. You know, other times people might say, well, I'm going to a new temporary job, for example, that lasts 3 to 6 months. So I hope to achieve the following, like in the while I'm at the job. So again, I do think it's just about setting intention. One thing that might help is writing time frames down, like jotting it under your goal, where you wrote your SMART goals down and say, okay, I think I can lose 5 pounds in the next 3 months, you know, just to kind of give that some. Yeah, have y'all timed any of your goals? You have any specific goals where there's like, there's something about life, right, that gives you that timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still working in the, like, what am I doing this year?
Mm-hmm.
The time piece is hard because I feel like all of mine are like, I want to do it now and last forever my whole life. So there doesn't need time.
Yeah, I think challenging making them relevant. Like think, you know, of like, what do I want to, what can I, and think like, if you put a lot of, I mean, we all have lots of goals, but if you put them all down and they could last a lifetime, what's the likelihood that you're going to achieve them in the now or soon?
Right.
Cause then you'll think like me, I'm like, oh, I've got forever to get that done. I'll just.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping if by putting these things down that I won't lose sight of them, because I know I'm going to be working mostly on doing my next step, that application for promotion. And I can see myself getting burnt out and other things that come up. And I think that's my biggest thing, that I'm a person where I've got goals and then things come up. And so I pivot to like focus on the things, like whatever the fire is, okay, I'm putting that out. I'm doing that. Oh, this opportunity, okay, I'll pivot to that. And sometimes I forget to come back to those things that I had really set initially for myself.
One of the things I try to do is keep mine nearby, because I'm the same way, right? I get distracted. So I like to put it like in my office or up in my bedroom, up high, like some place that I always am, so I can constantly see it as a reminder. This is not everybody's technique. You know, as you said, like we're only accountable to ourselves, but when I do my vision boards, I always snap a picture and send it to at least one person that I know like really cares about me. Because what they do then is hold me accountable. You know, like I say, I really want to achieve this. I made my vision board today, and it's the person that I know is going to call me out or check in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you really wanted to do this. So, and it doesn't mean I'm like held to that person's thoughts about my goals, but it means that I have like a little extra support to get that done.
Yeah. I like that idea.
I bet it's hard. Y'all, I know all three of your parents, right? I think.
Yes, I am.
It'd be hard, like prioritizing yourself. I know my mom talks about that, so I'm assuming it must be really hard for you guys to take the time to prioritize yourself and your own goals.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah, it was when my girls were, um, younger. They're adults now and independent. And at this point, I almost felt lost because my whole life was centered around
Yeah.
the children. Now it's like they don't need me anymore. They're off, which I'm happy about and I'm hearing and everything. But then I'm like, oh my God, I've got to find me again.
Right.
I really have to, rethink some things and those things that we're talking about setting down. Where are they? I've got to go find them and dust them off and and try to, get back at it with them. So that's pretty much where I am now. One thing about it, if nobody wasn't distracted or um, COVID knocked everybody out, knocked the wind out of everybody last year. So
We're all trying to figure out what
yeah,
pace we need to be moving at this point. And it feels like it's forever changing based off of
and
access to
it's a
vaccines.
reset for sure. And not only a reset, I mean, some people had to literally do a brand new board because you had to put those goals on the back burner, all depending on what it was you were doing. They may not even be a priority anymore because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, when life circumstances happen and you're like, this was a priority under typical
Not anymore.
normal circumstances, but
Yeah.
I think that's what's nice about being able to do more than one vision board over time. Like, you just choose a time and you're like, okay, it's time to do another one. It feels like a reset when you do it. And I mean, life is going to happen, but you can reset. I know folks who add to their board like every month. You know what I mean? Like they'll look at the board and they're like, that's another image I found related to my original goal, or life circumstances happen. And now I need to focus more on this. It doesn't mean that you don't try to achieve your original goals, but Are y'all finding yourself using more pictures or words?
Now I'm more words.
Yeah, I'm words, and I found a few pictures earlier. I was like, my pictures aren't that big, but then I'm looking at the board and I'm like, well, that's probably good because
yeah, you can fill it up pretty quickly. I'm realizing.
Yeah, it's not gonna fit.
Mine is like all pictures, no words, as of now.
And you may have
Well,
seen
you have Beyonce, so that's why.
Right.
Trying to think of all the things that keep me present, and I just keep coming back to like these photos of powerful women I see who I'm like, that's like inspiring to look at, aspire to be. I have a picture of AOC that I found, and nature imagery and flowers and stuff. So it's kind of like professionally, and then also things that I look at and I'm like, those are things I can see on a daily basis. I can go on a walk and see flowers, or go outside and look at a sunset. I always have that accessible to me, fortunately. So I think that's why, maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I found that every time I've done one, something beach related was on the board. Like, well, maybe I moved to the right place, if not at least for that part. So the ocean has always been like a great, calm, meditative.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Now, when my kids are running around screaming, it's nice.
Yeah, the water will do it.
Yeah.
To make it out to Wilmington.
You haven't been yet?
No, I have not been to the beach in North Carolina.
Oh my gosh, we have failed you. You
Oh my goodness.
I know. So that's maybe that needs to be a goal as well. But no, my sons, they love the ocean. We've been to Hilton Head. That's where they both saw the ocean for the first time. And then my husband's family is from Israel, and so when we went to visit there, they were in the Mediterranean. But my oldest son has been asking, especially after doing a project on North Carolina, to get to coast.
Yeah. You gotta come.
I know, it just seems so far away.
I know, right?
Like, I know it's not, it's totally drivable. It's not, but it just seems so far away.
How many hours is it driving?
I think from Greensboro to you all, it would be like, is it 4? No, might not even be that long.
I've done the drive from Elon a few years ago. I visited my friend that went there, and then I drove back here, and I think it was like an hour outside of Raleigh, and Raleigh's like 2 hours away. So like
So it's probably like 3 hours.
Oh well, some of my piece is long distance driving. I love road trips, so that is. Like, my family they beg me not to continually drive to Louisiana from here, and I would do it without thinking about it. It's like 13 hours. So
I got my driver's license 2 weeks before I started my job at Elon.
Okay.
Me and driving are not friends.
You're not a driving fan, I'm hearing here.
No, it is totally, I pass that on to anyone else. I mean, I'm sure that the minute my kids get a license, they'll be driving more than me. I can get to like the supermarket, like Target.
You're back home, huh?
Right. And I can get to my job, but that's it. So the idea of like
long distance driving.
Yeah, it's not. Everybody else I'm around totally does it, but I've just never been a driver. I don't know why.
Well, maybe someone will drive you to the beach.
That's what I'm thinking.
You should put a stern wheel and a beach scene on your vision board.
There's a goal. That's right.
Yeah, you're trying to. It's funny.
That's what I need, honestly. That's my goal, to see the beach. North Carolina.
It's very calming.
Like I'm not finding a lot of mind body pictures here. I find one lady on the beach doing yoga.
Can I just put the picture of Michelle Obama on mine?
Yeah. I'm a little worried about my magazine selection at this point, y'all.
Hate to cut up her interview, but it's gotta happen.
When I first started, I used to feel so bad about that. And so a lot of times people will ask for magazine donations, like in person.
Mm-hmm.
Plan a few months ahead, you say, maybe at like a local church or a community center, you say, hey, we're having this big vision board party. Bring or drop off any old magazines you don't use, because lots of folks have them just lying around the house.
Right.
And so I feel better about that than grabbing like a really good like new edition magazine, or there's somebody iconic on the front of it, like the Obamas or something. And you're like, I don't want to chop this all up.
Exactly. I had one that I was like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Well, I was about to say I'm getting there and it's going to lift it up and show it, but one of my little pieces isn't secure. Showing off, huh? All right, so far, ladies. I don't know if you
Oh,
can.
I love it.
Yeah,
See the top corner.
that's it.
Nice.
Wait, that's a weight.
I like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, look, I just found a steering wheel.
Pass it to Dr. Longmire. Pass it.
No.
Brinn, you can put it on your board and then drive and get her.
Well, one of my goals is I would like for to increase the amount of time that I spend outdoors.
Mhm.
The one thing that this pandemic kind of taught me was that I think the whole family, unless there was like a reason, like a sports event or something like that, we were basically indoors. We didn't take advantage of going really walking or hiking. So I got back into running slash walking, but I've been kind of forcing everybody to go on these family hikes around. So I want to keep that up. I would like to do it like twice a month, that we all do a hike, but it's gotten us to drive to all these other places in North Carolina. So I just got to find a trail, I think in Wilmington, and then push us to go that way.
I'm about to say something really profound. Sand be your trail.
What?
Let the sand be your trail.
Let the sand be my trail.
I've never gone on a hike before.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's really, and I think I kind of grew up thinking like, oh, hiking's not something that, I mean, I grew up in a city, so we didn't really have access to that. And to be honest, my mom doesn't drive either. So we were very much like wherever the public transportation took us, that was about it.
Mhm.
But now that we're out in North Carolina and you can find it. You can
Trails
find these
everywhere.
trails
Yeah.
everywhere. I love it. I didn't even think about that when we were thinking of kind of moving down here.
Yeah.
And it's really good because even the kids are fighting with each other and then they get out there on the trail and they're just running around. We have a dog. She loses her mind.
Yeah.
on the trail.
Like, yay!
Yeah. Outdoors.
Yes. I love that.
I
You made me
realize I'm
think
like,
of-
oh, that's right.
Go ahead. I'm
What?
sorry.
No, I was gonna say every time we take her out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You were supposed to be a farm dog. Not like actually sitting inside. Sorry about that.
Let me free, mama.
Yes. Oh, she goes off.
I realized I have gone on one. I was in Ghana. There was this, and I'm embarrassed that I can't remember the name of it, but it was this swinging bridge that's kind of a monument in Accra, Ghana. And I remember they were like, put your book sack on. I totally did not have on the right clothes, did not have on enough insect repellent. Maybe I had blocked it from my mind now because I totally remember. It was a short hike, don't get me wrong, but I had to hike up to get to the
never
bridge.
again.
Back it up. Did you say a swinging
A
bridge?
swinging bridge, yes, Miss Bonita.
And what was it swinging over?
The world.
Oh, see.
Just open. I can't remember the name of it right now.
It was up high, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty.
No.
That's why we had to hike up to.
Did you go and did you cross over?
I did cross over.
You did.
yes. You know why? Because it
Right.
was a
Sad. I see y'all
goal.
down at the bottom.
I don't do heights, so I would have just said no thanks.
Yeah, no, I don't think I think when I was younger, some kind of way, I don't know if this was something that was at the Grand Canyon or if it was an experience that they had in Disney somewhere. But I've been on a swinging bridge. Now that was something that I could do when I was younger, but now the older me is like, nah,
Yeah.
you know, I'll see you guys down at the bottom. I'll be the one holding the coats.
Yeah.
Yeah. That used to be me. It's funny because I remember journaling about it before the trip. Like my mentors were, what are some of the things you want to do on the trip? And they had given us all this information about what we'd be doing and how long we'd be staying. I'm like, oh, I'm scared of that thing, but that's something I would want to conquer. Like it meant something to the native folks there. And I was like, you know, and I kept telling them, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. So they all cross and they're like, so, so it took a bit of coaching for me to go. I was actually happy on the other side of it because it was a
Oh yeah.
but I
I can't.
Like I'd even like to parasail, but I don't know that I would want to do it now. You know, but I mean, it just seemed like it would be so fun.
yeah.
But
I found a yoga lady, guys. Look at this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
Y'all are better at multitasking than me. So Miss Bonita tacking right now, and I might go back and glue, or I might leave the tacks, but it just go faster. To just tack
I'm
them.
gonna shift over to gluing in a second.
I like these too, like spaces where you can write things in, go and you just can't find what you need, and you make it happen. You know, stick it on. Like note to self. I love affirmations like this. What would I want to say to myself? Stick it on this board.
yeah, one of my goals was to secure more contracts. You know, I do contractual work, but I couldn't find anything, so I had to make some dollar signs and some dollar signs, and then cut out prosperity as a word. So I'll try to fit that in somewhere because it looked like my health has taken up the board.
Like just completing this board is helping me with my goal of being present and mindful because I'm just focusing on this one thing.
Yeah. I definitely feel calmer after.
Yeah, Brinn, my present has to be task oriented. So how people talk about meditating and they're like, I can sit in quiet. I'm like, no, I need like an object or a task or something specific, right? To hold on to do it. And then a lot of it for me is like giving myself permission to just be. And that's some of the work. And I find naturally that I can just be more naturally when there's music or something. You know, I just know what my sort of calming resources are. So I grab those and that helps me get there a little faster. But yeah.
Kind of placing these all over, so I'm gonna go for it now. Gluing them.
How you looking over there, Dr. Longmire, eh?
I'm good. I can't like put everything up because this glue might.
Did you hear me, Buffy?
No, what'd you say?
She's on the beach.
In my happy place. I love the beach too. I don't know why I haven't gotten there.
On the little picture that says it's a good day to have a good day. And I say this to my kids every morning in the strangest voice. If I don't do it, they won't get out the car.
Oh Lord.
They're like, waiting for it.
Waiting.
I'm gonna have to use tacks because the glue I have for some reason is not sticking.
Yeah.
The other glue I have all this. Goal needs to be to declutter my house because we got like 5 glue sticks and none of them work.
Guess we'll be wrapping up in a minute. Can't believe it's already been that much time.
No, the time flew.
It's really flies by.
Yeah, what I realize is it takes you so much time to just get like settled into starting, you know? Then once you get in the groove, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I told you in my mind, I was playing it over. I was like, I better do some of this now because I don't see this happening in an hour and a half. Not the way
Yeah,
I
but
ponder through and get caught up in the magazines and the pretty outfits and shoes.
don't read me, Miss Bonita.
Well, the good thing is you can always work on it later too, right? Finish it
Yeah.
all.
Exactly. Right now, I'm just using a thumbtack to like hold my spot, you know?
Mhm.
Me too.
Come back to it.
Like we're all counting down in our heads. 5.
4, 3.
Like one of those chef shows.
Gordon Ramsay's about to come out and start
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
at me.
Well, one thing I have thoroughly enjoyed you ladies
Okay.
in our talk and discussion. It's been really fulfilling and relaxing.
This has been wonderful.
Mhm.
Right. We're gonna have to get to the point where we're gonna show something. So
Me and these dots are having a time over here. Make this sticky.
Bonita, I think my board might have a theme.
Hey,
Sitting back looking at it, and I'm like,
what you got?
I feel like it's all mind body stuff. It's just in different areas. So I told you about the mind body approaches with yoga and the brain. And then I have some stuff around. I do a lot of trauma and resilience work, right, in my own life experiences. So I have a quote over here that says, I am not what has happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
Wow.
That is like quotes related to that.
Yeah.
This is the mind
I
body
see that.
stuff in the middle.
Yeah. I
And this
like.
is all of, go ahead.
No, I said I like.
Yeah.
I see.
And this is like nature spiritual stuff. It says all of heaven is behind you. God is love. So like spiritual mindset, self-care, mind, body, and then like inspiration stuff related to mental and emotional health, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty good. And so you just did the one thing. I mean, the one goal on this board.
Yeah. I mean, I had like 3 or 4
Three. Mhm.
down, but then after we talked, I decided to focus primarily on mind, body stuff. So things that feed into that. Yeah. What y'all got?
I can show mine. Mine is also done on tax. It looks like partially a Beyonce board, but partially.
The theme is Beyonce. Oh,
Yeah.
it looks so artistic.
It does.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a lot of nature, and that's things I love traveling, and that's something that even if I'm not actually leaving, I can still enjoy because nature's all around me. So I can go and find that here, and that really doing things like that, doing things like art and collaging keeps me in the moment. So listening music by Beyonce or not Beyonce.
I think Brinn's a Beyonce fan, y'all. If you missed it.
possibly, just possibly. We're not sure.
Oh, I love that. It looks real. I always like to see other people's boards. Like, I don't know, the mind is so powerful. Just the way we organize, the way we think, and what it looks like. So it's cool.
Well, this is mine. I threw on my other piece on the prosperity there, and my health stuff is here. I've got a little spot down here. I'm gonna put my faith stuff there, but if you can see it, this is it.
Hold it up a little bit higher, Miss Bonita.
Perfect.
I see. Oh, I see your fruits and veggies at the bottom there.
Yeah,
Drinking water and minding my business. Yes.
that's right.
All right, I'll show you mine. Ah, wait, hold on. Thought I had pinned something. I did not. All right, here we go.
The big reveal.
Right.
So I'll
Yeah.
stick it, but as a lot of, I think I just ended up with a lot more, kind of more positive affirmations to kind
I
of get
see
me
that
back in
expert
track.
in there.
Mhm.
And then I started moving into, like I said, I wanted to move into that like getting outdoors. So,
Yeah.
but I saw this and I was just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, you gotta have it.
I have to have it. I have to have it.
I also see your build onto your vision on your board.
Yes.
So I may or may not check in about that web page. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's funny, like the universe is speaking to me. I'm meeting so many people that I know could do this work. I need to just stop playing, just put up a few pictures and call it a day. I'm trying.
Where are y'all gonna keep your boards? Where are y'all gonna keep your boards?
My desk right here. Be right
I
next to
know.
it.
I don't have like
Like
a.
about this.
I think it's going to be downstairs where my office, like not quite my office, but where I have a lot of my meetings. But at some point, I hope to get back to my actual office and want to put it there.
Yeah.
I think that'll be important.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Somewhere where you often are. The first time I did one, I put it in the back of a closet. That didn't work out too well.
Oh,
I found it when I was moving. I was like, oh yeah, so those goes.
That's right.
Don't do that, y'all. We live and we learn, you know.
No, this is great. I want to continue on. And I mean, the nice thing is anybody who is watching this, like you probably are not going to finish in the time frame of this recording, but you just start mapping it out and then you can go back because I'm already seeing where I'll probably write some things, add some color, do a little bit more, zhuzh it up a bit. Zhuzh it.
People doodle with pens and like glitter, once you get your stuff on the board, you can, yeah.
There's a lot that can be done. Yeah. I'm excited.
Excited too. Thank you guys so much for this time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
it's good.
And
Very
thanks
good.
to anyone viewing this on YouTube. You get a chance to do it. You could really even do it along with us. I mean, kind of at least start the process. So
Board with us.
Yes. Share your boards with us. I'd love for people if they wanted to take pictures and put it
We should
in
give it a
comments.
hashtag and people can share it.
Yeah.
Network.
well, thanks so much for being here and letting me moderate. Share this experience. It was really lovely.
Absolutely.